so I guess we're going to start the board meeting. I don't know how to officially do it, but here it is. So we did it. I guess everybody in this room knows everybody, so that's easy enough.
I don't know, Damien. Jay, I imagine you're associated with Paintball Sports?
PB Sports, yeah.
PB Sports. And then
Yep.
Thomas, is that Thomas Gee?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Dan.
That's Dan.
Hey.
He's the man of paintballhistory.com and BakiPaintball.com. All these great websites that we all do.
BakiPaintball.com.
Oh yeah, I know who Dan is.
And
Dan,
Damien,
to introduce you, actually, I know you because I buy stuff from you all the time. I order a lot of stuff from you, but I'm from Pittsburgh area. Been in the sport for 33 years now, but I own and operate Gator Mail, the chainmail neck protector people, slowly working its way out towards the West Coast. Yeah, we've been going with that for 5 years and have it all over the world now, and a big fan of the museum. So
you guys are all a part of the museum, and I greatly appreciate all your time. I know it hasn't been a lot at this point, but dealing with the government. But
You're the one spending all the time doing stuff,
Yeah.
so we all appreciate that, Kenny.
Oh, it's just a passion project for me, more or less. But as of June 3rd of 2025, we are officially recognized by the IRS as a nonprofit organization. So now we're required to have board meetings and file paperwork. And paperwork is not my strong suit. And so I am praying that Mr. Gee can help us out with time with that. I don't know the paperwork that's involved with maintaining it. I just know there are forms to fill out. And
Piece of cake. The pain in the neck part is Michigan's one of the few states where most nonprofits, you just file a thing with the feds, which just a simple document. Which you don't have to file if you don't make, in terms of profit, which could be just interest, more than $500 a year. But the state of Michigan would still require us to file something just to maintain your nonprofit status.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, I'm going to put you in charge of that.
It's all a fairly easy process. It's there's probably more postage than anything else because. I don't think unless God forbid, most of the stuff we'll be getting in, I would expect to be donations and the like.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a pretty simple thing, and the only thing for Kenny that's going to be a pain in the neck is he's going to have to get an inventory of stuff you have to, so to speak, to date, and then we'll have to as we add or sell off or deduct inventory, because you're going to go out there and play with it and use it, and it's not going to be a museum piece anymore. We just have to maintain an inventory on that.
Okay. All right. Well, I will keep a log of everything that we get donated. The last event, which would have been Monster Game, I guess was the first event that I had a couple boxes of things donated. It's mostly junk, but they are treasures, so I'll go to the organization, and so I will start inventorying that and keeping a running log for you to help out with that. And we have very minimal financial contributions. I have an envelope of money from our tip jar, and it sits here on the desk, and I think we're sitting at a solid $80 in here. So we have $80. So I assume we'll need to open a bank
from
account
this end. Because obviously we're going to have to establish a banking account, which actually is going to be quite the challenge.
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to all be together to do it, but in order to have a corporate resolution and list our board members, we've all got to find what's the geographically most appealing bank for all of us to be able to get to. I think we need at least 3 board members in order to open this account.
Okay. Well, I'm open to suggestions there. I'm pretty sure with online banking today, it's not going to be a super big thing because we have $80. I don't foresee that going up significantly in the immediate future.
It's not the money. It's not the money. It's the requirements.
Gotcha.
Like for instance, if you want to do it at Wells Fargo, we have to have a corporate resolution, even though we're a nonprofit. Okay. And that thing has to be executed in person at the bank initially. Okay. Once we're established, if we want to open future accounts, a savings or an investment or whatever account on the side, we certainly can do that, and that can be done by email. But your initial opening, which would have to include 3 board members, that's gonna have to be done in person at a bank. It doesn't have to be the same branch.
Okay.
And this is basically your baby. The bank that has branches in at least geographic availability. Some of the other us, we could do it there, but you couldn't begin to operate, or we can't order checks until there's time that we are up and running.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll make that a priority to find a bank that works for at least 3 of us.
Right.
All right. I guess the next thing is, since we're talking about money, is how we got any ideas for fundraising. Initially, I thought about grant writing. I know we're not likely to get any grants without paying a grant writer, but I'm happy to fill out paperwork until my hand falls off. Give it a try. I didn't know if, and Thomas, you may know, if raffles are allowed for a nonprofit. Are we allowed to raffle things?
100%, yes.
Okay, so if maybe we can
that's
get
just a form of fundraising.
So maybe we can get some of the industry to donate a gun here or there, and do some raffling, and maybe picking a large event or something to draw from the raffle.
Yeah, we'll give Valken a call.
Yeah, Valken.
They just filed for bankruptcy. I don't think they're going to be donating.
Oh, they'll be fine.
They have all kinds of inventory. Stuff. Yeah. They
have all kinds of inventory.
I was just making a joke.
Yeah. But you never know. Maybe Planet Eclipse or HK or something of a higher end marker that people.
I think getting product to raffle off from a lot of the manufacturers, or something that I'm sure they all see as a fairly good thing, is not going to be a difficult thing to mountain to climb. They're all very willing and supportive, and at this point, they're all looking for any kind of positive exposure that they can get.
Right.
There's no longer any industry showcases going on. Since I pulling the plug in the extravaganza, and I don't know what the plans are for a summit. So,
right.
So it doesn't look good at this juncture.
All right.
But any outlets anyone can come up with is going to, for the manufacturers, I think they're going to be pretty open to.
Well, great. That'll be fun. So that's an option I think we could do maybe once or twice a year. I don't want to saturate it with it, but maybe to get some initial money out of it. And then another idea would be to have an event, find a field near one of us that would maybe do an event and then send the proceeds to for the museum for that event. I don't know if that's an option or something that anybody would be interested in doing.
Well, I think more likely support and say, a scenario or a big game somewhere where we just set up a table and go there and they could agree to sponsor us, to have us come out there for whatever it would be, just so that they could say, a portion of the money is going to support the General Paintball Museum, because you can sit there and say that can be used in their promotion.
Yeah.
Whatever, say, and even if we sit there and say, listen, basically license them to use our name in the promotion of an event, and say, give us $1 a case.
Yeah.
I think the easier way to do it is to get product for free and then raffle that off. The players are going to be more interested in that, and field owners aren't going to want to be giving up numbers on how many cases and keeping track of $1 a case and all that. But I spend enough money with some of these people, I can lean on and get a free something or other from this company this time, and the next time hit a different company. And we could probably, I think, Kenny, most of the events you go to, with a little planning, we could plan on having the giveaway be at the event.
If we could
And
do
I
it
don't need
online,
to
maybe
keep it
do
for
it.
much, so.
Yeah, and maybe do it online leading up to it, and then raffle it off at the end of the event, so you can get some momentum during the event.
Yeah, so I would say think about when you want to do that, let me know, and then I'll figure out who to hit up first, and I'll make my big order, and then go, oh, by the way, we need a prize for the museum, and then wait till the next time, and then hit another company up and go, oh, by the way, we need a prize for the museum. And I think we can get free stuff and then raffle it off.
Dan, and Damien, how do you guys feel about that?
I defer to you for all decisions, basically. You are the president, right? So sounds good. The most interesting thing is probably, as a nonprofit, we can offer tax deductions for people's donations, right? So with that, I want to be able to offer that, to anyone. And when they donate, is that going to be like a form? Like we have a standardized form?
Yeah, we have to give them a receipt. We have to give them a receipt, either, and we can make up, basically things that are a little more in the sales book. It's just going to have to be our own, so to speak, letterhead, and give them out for any donations that people want to receive, at an event. And then, if we get any other significant donations, we have to have a receipt form that we send them, that they can, send in with their taxes.
So when you donate to something like Goodwill or in the more local companies like that, they just have a piece of paper that they sign and date. And more often than not, they just give it to me as the person that's donating. And I fill in what I gave and what I think the value is. And then that is on me, on my tax end. They don't even see a copy of what I fill out. For cash or monetary donations, I think it's dealt with a little differently. So if I donate to the food bank, I get a letter saying, hey, thanks for the $200 check. And I have an acknowledgement of the actual cash. So if you have people that donate actual cash, I think a check, whatever, if you acknowledge that somehow, then that could be their receipt for their taxes. And if they're just giving you paintball stuff, Kenny, I think you should probably just get a pad of paper printed up that has the Paintball Museum. If you give me some time, I'll make a note. I'll dig out one of the receipts I've had from one of those places, and we can just basically copy that, and you can just have it with you and give people a receipt so they can get their tax donation.
Okay, that's reasonable. Bill, you have any input?
It's all coming in. We pretty much covered everything. I think it'll be easy to get product. That's real easy. To get.
I guess what I was getting at with the donation thing is when we receive product for a raffle or something, those would also be donations, right?
Yeah, we'll have to inventory and receipt those items.
Yep.
Okay.
So from the
We also have to send out. We have to send out a letter to whoever is the winner of the raffle. If for the manufacturer to be able to write it off, we got to send out a letter to the winner of the raffle that they were given this value, which essentially is income.
Okay. Okay.
I will be surprised if any of the manufacturers want any paperwork for a $200 their cost item.
They may not, but the thing is,
They're
they're
giving
thinking
it away
down
just like they're giving away at an event.
ideally over time, you'd want to have, be approaching some of these manufacturers where they're giving us, $1,000, $10,000 a year, or $500 a year, whatever, on an annualized basis, and as a budgetary distribution, because that's where you can build a company from. Whether you're dealing with raffles or just events, you've got a very unpredictable cash flow, and it's not like we're producing anything that we can generate any otherwise real revenue from. So we may have to get into, like I said, licensing the use of our name in some respects, or say, hey, supporters and whatnot, and maybe have memberships, as many physical museums might have. But these are conversations for down the road. I mean, right now, for lack of a better description, this is a fledgling. Let's get it off the ground. Let's start, getting it some more legitimacy. And that all these other things, because everyone's going to be pretty leery about saying, we're not going to commit ourselves to something annually when we don't know if you're going to be here next year.
Right.
I mean, I think Kenny's reputation, through the last few years, is a good thing for, that basically. Like Kenny and Bill, you guys are pretty regularly attending events and, traveling to set up. And I don't know.
I think you're right. Everybody that we're going to hit up for donations saw the booth at World Cup. They're all there. They've seen it. So I think the legitimacy aspect is heading in the right direction, if nothing else.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad that I've made an impression. I just assume I'm just some crazy sitting out in the booth showing off a bunch of old guns.
Talking to all the other crazies, and that's
they gather.
That's where you fit in with us. That's where we all fit in. So what are your long-term goals, Kenny, for the nonprofit? Like 5 years, 10 years?
So obviously this is no longer just my baby, it's our baby. Whether you like it or not, you're a part of this crazy. But so my goal is to have it self-sustaining. So hopefully at some point in the future, and I don't think it will be within the next 5 years, but the organization to be able, we're the founding members, right? And then as you guys don't want to be a part of it, or you're just done dealing with me or us, and then like to move on, right? There's another generation or other people that would be highly interested in doing what we're doing here, which is trying to preserve and showcase history. I know a lot of people have a lot of big collections, and I know Dan, Bill, we're all, and Jay even, we all have, and everybody here pretty much has a large collection. But you guys don't have the time or energy to probably pack that up. I know, Dan, you do go to events and showcase your history booth, and it's amazing. But to be able to keep this going, and it's not going to end when you die or I die or we move on, right? So hopefully the history keeps building, and the inventory of the museum keeps growing, right? And being able to show this off. And I'm happy to keep my gear on lend. I know Bill has mentioned that he's willing to lend some of his gear for events, right, to show it off. So that's helping us initially right here start it, right? And then as we get donations, it'll grow. So my goal is to be able to go to more events. And then my goal, and I'm hoping within the next 5 years, is to create a bigger trailer. So I took our 18-foot enclosed trailer and I converted that into the museum temporarily now, and it's a good proof of concept, right? I just drove it down to Health Survivors for Super Game and basically set up a 10x10 tent in front of it, and I'm done, right? So when I go back for the event, I'm just going to open the doors and turn on the lights, and it's done. And then at the end of the event, I just close the doors and turn off the lights, and I'm just going to tow it back home. Where previously, a month ago, when I was just at Monster Game at Health Survivors, it took me 6 hours to pack it all into the trailer and totes, and then it took me 8 hours to build the tents and the grid wall and zip tying all the stuff to it, and then it took me 6 hours to take it all down, and it took me probably another 5 hours to unload it all back into the museum here. So this is going to be a huge changer for me. I don't have to spend hours upon hours upon hours building something. I can just open the doors and let it go. So my goal is in the future, obviously, to have a larger enclosed trailer. I'm shooting for as big as we could possibly find for an enclosed trailer. And I went with an enclosed trailer because I've done a lot of research, and it costs too much to use a semi, because I originally wanted a semi trailer, like a paint trailer, to go to events. But if we own the trailer and we have to have a tractor pull it, apparently it's like $8 a mile to transport it from event to an event. And that seems unreasonable when the industry is right around $3.50-ish a mile. So if we leased a trailer and a trucking company was able to just reuse the trailers, it's like $3.50, but because we have to pay them to come back empty without a trailer, it gets more pricey. So my logistics friend said, just get an enclosed trailer, keep it under 20,000 pounds, and you can have companies that move like campers or boats and things like that. They'll move it for you a lot cheaper, and they're easier to find those people that do those hauls. So an enclosed trailer, you get like a race car trailer, 40-footer maybe, and build it in that, and then that'll be able to have more guns, right? So I'm estimating with so we have an 18-foot trailer, and I have 134 guns in it on display. So 40, we could over double that. I'm pretty sure if I was a little bit better with my spacing, I could get a little more, a little less. Obviously, labeling everything so that everybody knows what it is by reading it. And then, so if I can't make it to an event, but we have somebody that's reliable that's in Florida, right? We can have the trailer delivered to Florida, have that volunteer or ambassador or whatever we want to call them, and have them sit at the trailer. They have no paintball knowledge of everything in that trailer, but there's little barcodes that you can scan and maybe take you to YouTube, or informational little plaques on each marker so that people that were interested in it could read it. And so that's my goal, is to somehow figure out how to get this trailer to go to more events and it not have to require one of us to be there, right? We could find some trustworthy people out in the world that we personally trust, and be able to have them do that. So, and that's the trailer itself. My guesstimated cost for me to do a lot of the manual labor, but materials, is right around $60,000, which is a lot. And that also depends greatly on how much we get a trailer for. I know Jay and Thomas had worked with, and Bill, I think, had talked to GI Sports about donating their old Tippmann trailer that was around. And they weren't ready to get rid of it yet, but that would be a good
they're going to
size.
let it sit there and just rot.
Right. It is under a roof. I guess that's something.
I saw it today. It's still just sitting in the same spot.
Right. So maybe we could swing them into getting rid of it one day. I don't know. But if we could find something, if the trailer gets donated, right, we might be able to save $15,000 or $20,000 off of that $60,000.
Who's left at Core other than I think John is the last man standing, so to speak.
John Rathman's still there. Of course, Billy's still there.
Scotty.
I thought Billy was out in Texas.
I mean, none of them are in that building. So Pat Sanderson's the only one that's still in the building, and then the service guys. But everybody works remotely now. There's not a salesperson in that building. It is just order picking, 2 guys doing manufacturing. They've got their engineer there and their service department.
Yeah. So, yeah. If we could find a trailer or inquire. Anyway, it's around $60,000, give or take, and then we got to pay to move it. And I guess again we're back to we don't have any money, so it's a pipe dream right now. But I feel like together we could make that happen, and if we could make it happen in the next 5 years, that'd be great. And how I calculated mileage, because I was trying to see how much it costs per year to move the trailer around. it's going to be right around $40,000 to $50,000 to make it to about 15 events that are major, and they're only on this side of the east side of the Mississippi. I can't, to get to all the major events on the East Coast and get to some on the West Coast, it's not feasible, less feasible to do that with one trailer. But maybe in the future we could expand to multiple trailers. But again, that's further down the pipe dream. So yeah, that's my immediate 5-year plan, is to hopefully get something going with the trailer, maybe finding some grants to help start up this thing, and then find funding elsewhere to move it to events. And as we get more funding, we can take it to more events and expose it to more different events, right? I'm going to Health Survivors because it's nearby and it's convenient. But going to World Cup was a big task for me and Bill when we went down there a couple years ago, and it took, I think every bit of $8,000 for both of us to do it. And that's per person. So it was quite the expense. So that's why we're not doing it again, because we can't afford to do it again. But and I thought I had a guy convinced to pay for it, but he backed out. So I told him that for $15,000, we'd be happy to go down. And he wasn't sold at that point. But anyway, 5 years is hopefully get the trailer. 10 years, just ever increasing the trailer, right? Getting it going, more events, exposing it to more people. Get coast to coast is my goal. Is to get it to paintball history to be able to go to different events across the country. Maybe at some point going to Canada or something like that. But yep. So that's what my dreams are. And if we can make it happen, that'd be great. But I'm also on board with whatever you guys have. If you guys have a different vision or idea that might be better, I'm all ears to open. I just want to preserve, share paintball history. I don't want to keep it locked up in a basement or an attic and nobody hear about it except when you're like, oh, I've never seen this. Oh, I've got 10 of them. They're in the attic. But so I just like to be able to expose as many people and share paintball history as much as possible.
Seems like a great starting plan for now, Kenny. And your cost estimates are, great to hear, so that if I talk to anyone, I can tell them this is what Kenny is thinking, and he, has costs kind of planned out, and this is what it equals. So that's cool.
And I know me and Thomas have talked before about taking a portion of money that if we can gather, and investing it, and then using the return to fund the museum off of, because eventually we'll need insurance. We're going to need just a gamut of different things are going to be expenses, right? Maintenance for the trailer, axles, tires, anything like that. So, but fender benders, whatever, depends. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna at some point you might get people to be donating stuff to it that say, hey, so you can show this off, but it remains their property. And at that point, we would 100% have to have insurance for such things. Right.
So right now, I just carry an insurance policy for this, and I'm not 100% sure it's covered if I get stolen like tonight. But it's all my personal gear at this point, so it's just me on the line. But yeah, definitely if we had other people's gear, if Damien lent out his one of one PEV marker, then we'd need to insure that somehow, and I'll have to figure out how to go about that. And I know Jay had mentioned that land marine insurance was a really good option for using it in a trailer at one point, but I don't know all the logistics and all that.
It gets really funny. They don't like to insure things that are in something that has wheels.
Yeah.
So as dumb as this sounds, I can have 100 grand worth of guns in my tent, and they will insure it inside of a tent that you can cut open with a razor blade. If I put it in my trailer, some policies won't insure it because they're worried about somebody just taking the whole trailer. And I've tried to explain to them how asinine that is, and it didn't land on friendly ears. The people I'm with now, that's not an issue. They obviously see that it's more secure in the trailer than it is in the tent. So
there's got to be a way, right? Yeah, we got to figure it out, and then we have to get a cost estimate of that, and then that's just another ordeal. But just mainly money is our first hurdle, I think, is getting the ball rolling.
So Bill, plug your ears. But Kenny, there's probably a limit to how many pro-ams you need, or how many autocockers you can have. And at some point, if somebody donates Pro-Am number 32, maybe you start selling the lesser ones, and I think you could raise some money that way.
I mean, is it Serial 32 or is it the 32 one? Because he definitely has more. Oh, Kenny's way beyond that by now.
I have to control myself. Jay's got some really good numbers in his collection, and I drool every time I hear him mention a number here and there, and it's painful. And you know who else has some good numbers? Thomas has some sixes laying. Sevens or sixes?
Sixes. I've got from the Model 98 up until I forget which other. I've got all the Tippmans. Number 6.
Yeah. So you got a few. So
I also got Model 98 number 13 because no one wanted it. So I said, let me take that. That'll be worth something.
Compliments of Jay. I have number 8, and then A5 number 10, and those are also both Jay. Compliments, so not compliments. I bought them, but they came from Jay.
I think I have a SMG 60 that is Serial 6 or 7, but it's hard to say because the prefixes. But...
So the letters that are stamped in front of that is the person that built it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have serial number 1 of that.
Yeah.
Geez.
Yeah. So David Freeman has one that's unserialized, and he said it was the first one that Dennis made and gave to him.
Wow.
And then there was some other guy that I bought 2 from, and he said he was buying machine gun parts from Dennis, and Dennis, he knew that Dennis was making the paintball guns, and he told Dennis he wanted 1 and 2, and so they're stamped with 1 and 2, but it's not like the normal stamping. And they have the wrinkle coat, powder coat tanks though. And one of the tanks doesn't have the burst disc on it, which I don't think David Freeman's tank has the burst disc either. Do you know if yours has the burst disc?
I don't have a tank on mine, so I have just the gun.
Gotcha.
And I got it shortly after Denny Sr. passed, and then Junior was at the shop, and I had him look at it, and he was like, "Yep," because it has Denny Sr.'s initials and then 00.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So DT.
What's that?
DT in front of it. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think the ones I have are HT.
I have a whole fleet of Pro Lights and Pro Carbines, and I've never even looked ever at the serial numbers. And I've had them
not living, Bill.
25 or 30 years. They're my original guns.
I'll have to go through them one day, Bill, and see what you got.
I just need to go tub them all up. They're inside one of the buildings that's collapsing down at my field.
They'll be okay if it collapses.
Yeah.
Maybe not the other stuff.
Aluminum. It's all right.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. So just trying to come up with ideas on how you guys think we should maybe proceed making money, and then if you guys are okay with the trailer concept, or you guys have a different idea or a vision that may have come to you in a dream or nightmare, I'm happy to explore all options.
I think we're all just gonna display as we financially can, until we can come up with your ultimate deal.
Yeah.
I will tell you that with the trailer, you've got to come up with a way to make it seem like they're allowed to go in there. So Ultimate Paintball bought a 40-foot fifth wheel trailer, and he did a really nice job of putting product on grid wall and then wrapping it in saran wrap. So when he showed up, he cut the pallet wrap off, all the product was on the wall, and then he had his tent sitting there, and nobody would go in the trailer. Everybody thought it was behind the scenes, employees only. You weren't supposed to go back there. It was a complete failure. He used to take it to D-Day and Living Legends and stuff, and it was a complete failure. So make sure that you brand the 10x10 tent or something that says come inside, get a reader board, something that makes sure that they know they can go in there.
All right.
Or you can sit there and tell them to go in there, but I think making sure it seems inviting that they can actually go in the trailer.
Was it your current Was it your current trailer, or did I just imagine it where there was one with a roll-up on the side?
So this one is the current trailer has double doors on the back, and it was built for it was donated to me by the year or so ago, over a year ago, by the Ranger Paintball Tank. I can't remember the name. Ducks. Anyway, the team traveled around in the late 90s, early 2000s around the country, and they had this tank, and they called it Ranger. And I think he said it cost them like $30,000 in 1997-ish to make. It was in the William Shatner games. William Shatner signed the back of the inside of it, along with the other generals. Anyway, he said he went around the country about 5 times for about 5 years, and then he parked it, and he put the tank in his warehouse, and the trailer sat outside, and then apparently some company bought the building he was leasing from, and everybody had to leave. So he was looking at the tank, and he's like, either I'm going to scrap it or I'm going to find somebody to give it to. And he Googled and found the General Paintball Museum and called me up, and he was in Iowa. And he said, if you want it, you can have it. I'll sign the trailer title over to you. You just have to get it within the next 2 weeks. So I left work and drove to Iowa and picked up the trailer and blew out a few tires just leaving the parking lot because it's been sitting for so long, and drove to the tire store, got some new tires on her, and pulled it all home in one day. And that was a heck of a long day. And then I worked on the tank, and I got it running and in a parade. But the trailer and the tank are designed to go together. He cut the bottom, the whole back of the trailer out, and made a like spring-loaded cable ramp with steps in the middle that go up in the back. But it's just a double door. It didn't have a ramp originally, so it's got some engineering. He was a good welder. And then he built shelves in it throughout the whole thing to hold all of the tank shells, and he had an army tent in there, and he had high pressure air tanks. He had a 100-pound propane tank mounted on the tongue of it, and he used it. He set up the army tent, which was like a 20 by 40 GI-10 or whatever, and the trailer would be like the garage of it, and then the tank would go to events, and they'd work out of their team would work out of that tent with the tank. And anyway, I was trying to keep the trailer original, but after the last, I think Jay stopped by for Monster Game, and he saw my frustration as it was storming as I was setting up, and it stole a few of my tents, and all the museum stuff was getting wet, and it was an uphill battle. And so I really stared at the trailer, and I'm like, it really doesn't matter because I don't move the tank around anywhere that much, so I can use a different flatbed trailer to move the tank around, and we'll just use that trailer and make the paintball museum, and it's going to make my life better. When there's a bad storm, I just close the doors, and then I can just grab and go, and I don't have all the prep work goes away. So so all in all, I think I added it up. I think I have like $1,400 invested in the trailer repairs and making it into the museum. So it was a very cost-effective option. Not according to my wife, but it came out of our bank account. But to me, I thought it was a great idea. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been feverishly trying to get that trailer done, and it's good enough for this event.
So Kenny, I know you don't have any lettering or branding on the trailer, and I would suggest keep it that way. Your best security is the fact that it looks like it has broken lawnmowers in it. If anybody remembers Heavy D, he had Cash Money Paintball, and surprise, he got broken into and robbed because he had Cash Money Paintball on the side of his trailer.
I can see that.
Yeah, my current trailer, I don't have any branding on it at all. When I'm sitting in a hotel and I got way too much money in a trailer, I want them to think I'm a dirty landscaping guy with rusty shovels in there. So.
Okay.
And then when you get to an event, put all your banners up, have branding on your tents and everything, but leave the trailer as is.
Sure. That's a great idea. I know you mentioned it before. So, Dan, you should, forget all of your life responsibilities and come to St. Louis in October.
I wish.
I'll save you a seat.
Not this year, but sometime soon.
Slacker.
Yep, that's right. Slacking on my paintball responsibilities.
Yeah.
Kenny, if you want to use any of the giant banners that I made for my paintball history thing, or anyone else, anyone is welcome to, get those PDFs or the InDesign files and, use them as you need and put your logos or whatever on it. So, let me know. And I can assist if you need help. So.
Nova Paintball has offered any banners that we would like to print for the museum. He will do at cost. He said a 4 foot by 3 foot banner would be like $4 to $5.
Wow.
And so he said, just let him know if we need any banners printed. So Dan, I love your banners, and I would love to be able to make some duplicates. And I don't know the legality of leaving your logo on it. I'm fine with it, but I don't know if it's legal. I would prefer to leave you the credit for
no, we just put your logo on. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, let me know, and we can look at the document or whatever and do a PDF export and whatever. But yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, the trailer's old and made of metal, so I can get magnet hooks and hook them all on the trailer and have temporary banners.
Harbor Freight makes really strong ones.
Yeah, I know. I'm all about the cheap people, so Harbor Freight I'm frequent with. I guess the next question I had for everybody was, so like you were saying, Bill, I didn't know if as a group you care what events we go to, if I'm going to help survivors with the museum and representing it, or if you want to talk about every event that I'm going to go to or planning on going to. You want to approve it? I just didn't know how you guys feel about it. I don't want to leave you guys like...
Kenny, I think until somebody volunteers to do it, you can kind of say where you go. Well, assuming your wife says it's all right.
Yeah, it's definitely up to my wife. I have no say in this relationship. But yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that was okay with everybody. So that'll work out fine. And then we'll have to come up with a reason in our bylaws, which I think I emailed everybody a copy of, I don't know, eons ago. But I don't think there's a way to say, it said that we had to come up with a term limit for our board members. So I just threw a dart at the wall and came up with 2 years. They recommended somewhere between 1 and 3, so I just picked in the middle of 2 for our terms. I don't know there's a process to this, like how if somebody steps down or somebody dies or somebody doesn't want to do it anymore and they leave, or do they just wait out their term and then walk away? I didn't know if we probably need to come up with a method of madness of how to get board members. Do we need to have an approval of, so many board members for a new board member to be on, or does the old outgoing person replace the old person? Like, I don't know a way that anybody has any recommendations or opinions.
I have no basis of knowledge. I can do some research, but I don't have any idea.
I'm pretty sure as a nonprofit, wouldn't be having to bylaws, be it 2 or 3 years is your maximum single non-consecutive term. But you obviously you can be involved further in that.
So Google says you can do 2 consecutive 3-year terms is the most common structure. And then it's not uncommon to have a sabbatical period of a year before you can rejoin. But it doesn't say you have to do that. It just says that's the most common. Okay. But I don't know enough beyond what I just looked up.
So I work for a nonprofit in animal medicine, and we have a board of directors. We have essentially a very similar setup. Our major offices, our president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, they're on 1 year. Our just regular board members are on 2-year terms. And essentially, the way we structure ours is with our outgoing president, they can sit on the regular board as long as it's not a main office. But usually the vice president steps up and does a year term as president. The secretary steps up. You know, each one of them kind of like climb the chain because it's not the same seat. But what it does is it keeps a familiarity with the board members that are there. And then, you know, every 4 or 5 years, you end up with a full changeover because you introduce like a new treasurer or a new secretary, what have you, like that. That's how we do it, and we my company's been in existence since we just turned 93 this year, so
Wow.
we've been around for a while, and nobody's had any issues with it. We've been nonprofit since I think like 1968 or 69, one of those 2 years, and it's been working that way for them. Not saying it'll 100% work for what we're doing. But having the familiarity with the board members, getting a group of us that know each other and kind of cycling through, so we still have some of the originals, the OGs, on just the standard board, not holding an office position, so to say, is not a bad idea.
Okay. I guess that's an option, definitely. Well, I just didn't know. I know that when they set it up, the company asked how many years each term would be, but he didn't give me any limits or like procedures on how to change the board members. And it sounded like as long as the board agreed to keep, like you could keep your own positions indefinitely, as long as you didn't want to step down or there wasn't a vacancy, and we just didn't have any. There's nothing in place for when there is a vacancy on how to fill it. So I think it was up to us to kind of come up with in our bylaws on how to fill the spots. If Damien, your side, I'm done. I've got too much Gator Mill product going out. I can't handle the stress of dealing with you museumers. Then you could walk away, right? But then how do we replace you?
A lot of places, because it's considered an office, would the existing members would nominate and then vote in a new member.
Okay.
So like some of our local gun clubs out here where I live, that's how they do it. They have their standard board, and if somebody steps down or retires from the board, some people get nominated, and then they hold a vote and vote new people in. I think that's pretty standard across the board for a lot of that stuff too.
It might not be a bad idea to have them staggered as well. Like, so if somebody steps down, that would obviously create a new starting spot, so that we're not resetting with new people every 2 years, say. So some of us would stay on for a year, some stay on for 2 or 3, until you get to where it's staggered, so that we're not all changing over at the same time.
Yeah.
My
We
kind
can't all
was,
quit at the same time. Gotcha. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Well, do you guys have anything you guys want to go over or think about, or? So we got to recap. We have to come up with a bank that within 3 of us are close to. We're going to look into doing some raffles for some events, and come up with some way to have like a majority vote added to our bylaws, and then we can vote on that to add it to the bylaws if you guys choose to like the way we wrote it.
just put it out there geographically. I live in North Georgia now. It's not the same as the Northeast, so my bank options within 45 minutes of me are Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase.
Okay. I don't.
So, if you guys, whoever else is going to be, I guess, I don't know if we need 3. If we have, I mean, I need to have the, board, so to speak, vote on it. But I think, Kenny, only you and I have to be on it. it doesn't hurt to have other people involved in it. But I think only you and I have to be signatories on the thing. But we do have to have a copy of the minutes, stating that we've selected X bank.
Okay.
So.
Okay. It looks like I have a Chase or Bank of America within 40 miles of me. And I have a Wells Fargo within 20 miles of me, so it doesn't matter really.
Well, pick the closest one. If I would imagine you're the person who's going to be doing the physical handling of this more than anyone else. So, whatever geographically is going to be best or most convenient for you should be the one we would pick.
I was gonna defer to you because I feel like you'll deal with all the money, and I'm just gonna send it to you, and then it just disappears. I don't really know.
Well, yeah. That's all fine. That's all fine and dandy, but as Jay was saying, we figure about staggering years. As the years go on, you're the most likely person to be a constant.
Sure.
So if you say there's
then, as far as a cash standpoint, Kenny, you're the most likely to have a big, huge basket of cash, hopefully from a raffle.
Yeah. So we get checks in, we do online fundraising, we take credit cards, that goes straight to the thing. So no one has to handle the credit cards or anything online, but any checks will have to physically or mobile deposit or however it's going to go. But so that won't be too bad. But the green, if you're at an event, it seems silly to sit there. What are you going to do? Pack up, a bunch of stuff in a priority mail envelope and send me a couple $100? Go to the bank.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I can do that.
So
okay.
They said for the board here, we have to approve. And obviously it's not a big deal. We just gotta have it in the minutes that we have selected this particular bank to be the one that we'll do our business with initially.
Okay.
Then Kenny, I'll get with you this weekend and I'll try and get what information we might want to have on a tax donation form so that if people donate stuff, we do have something we can give them so that they can use it for their tax purposes, and I can figure that out and get something printed up. I can't imagine that costs very much money. So
great. All right. Well, I guess that's all I had, really. Shall we set another date for another meeting? All mostly here, other than Mike. Would sometime in September work for any of you guys? I know Dan is probably the busy out of all this. I feel like Dan is the hard apple to get here. I don't know. He's got like 10 jobs. I don't know. He seems busy to me all the time.
It's like one of the Jamaicans in The Living Color.
Yeah.
I got 10 jobs, man.
10 job man. What are you dating that lazy doctor for? You only got one job.
So, is Wednesday nights okay? I know, Thomas, you had other things going on tonight, and I appreciate you making it on, but I didn't know if Wednesdays work okay, evenings?
I think as a rule of thumb, yes.
Okay. Dan, are you okay with that?
Yes.
So, let's see here. Because Bill and I have this podcast thing we do, allegedly every other week. 27th is our next podcast. 10th. So how about the 17th? September 17th.
that works for me.
At the same time, okay for everybody? I know, Dan, it's early, and for us it's late, but if it works for you. 9 p.m. it is.
Sounds good.
And,
Very good.
Did this service work out for you guys using the StreamYard?
Yeah,
it's fine.
Good.
Surprisingly reliable. Streaming has come quite a ways in the last 7 years or so.
Sure. That's great. So
I have an InDesign donation form from one of the companies I was working with. That I'm going to remove their info and send you a PDF of, Kenny.
Great.
So that we can edit that if
Cool.
it works.
That'll be great. I appreciate it. And then, if you don't mind sending for the your informational banners, those are super creative, and I can't copy that information necessarily easily.
Yeah. I have to figure out where they are, but
No
yes.
Yeah, I guess that's all I have. Unless you guys have anything else you'd like to stick around.
Nope.
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 Well, I guess that's the end of her then. But I appreciate you guys coming on and spending the evening with me and everybody. All your support and your time and efforts joining me on this pipe dream of preserving paintball history and sharing it.
Thanks for all the hard work that you've done, Kenny.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Kenny,
Appreciate you guys doing all this. Thank you.
stop calling
We
it
got
a pipe dream.
Oh, sorry.
You got to think positive.
Yeah, all right. Well, I appreciate it again. Still, I know you guys haven't done much, but now I'm going to put you guys to work. You know, Dan's got paperwork to do. Jay's trying to find some paperwork. Thomas has got a lot of paperwork to think about. Damien, we got to find a form for you to get the minutes recorded. I had one. I've lost it somewhere, but we'll get that. As soon as I'll Google one, I guess.
Hey, Damien, you might want to check into those.
What is that?
It's a strap that goes on the top of the mask, so especially for younger kids. But I've noticed with the weight of the gator mail, it helps distribute that weight so it doesn't pull down on the front as much as what it does.
Can you send me that information and I'll look it up.
Yeah, that's not. Text me your address and I'll send you one. I'll send you one of these.
All right, I'll message you now for it.
Okay. Yeah, but it's
Well,
it's a pretty good product. So
well, I guess that's everything. I'll let you guys get back to your
All right.
evening.
Good night, all.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
see you guys.